What's up, everybody, and welcome into the number one Group of Five football podcast in all of the world. This is the Group of Five guys, and our mission is to be the voice for the Group of Five football programs, the voice that the mainstream sports media absolutely refuses to be. We need everybody's help to do that. We need you to follow us on all the social platforms at Group of Five guys. Go to YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your best podcast. Subscribe to the channel, leave a 5-star rating and a review. Most importantly, tell your family and friends all about us. On this episode of Inside Drill, been a long time coming. Liberty Flames head coach Jamey Chadwell joins the Group of Five guys. Hope you enjoy. Well, guys, it's been a long time coming. Second school, we've really tried to make this happen, but we have joining us of the undefeated Liberty Flames head coach Jamey Chadwell. Coach Chadwell, thank you so much for coming on and joining the Group of Five guys.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. You guys do a wonderful job representing G5. We're very appreciative of that. It's a great level of football. We need more people talking about it, and y'all are fantastic talking about it and spreading the news about how good our football level is. And so we're very appreciative of that.
Ain't no doubt about it. Well, Coach, we're 8 weeks into the season. It feels like you guys haven't played in a month. You know, you have a obviously the Storm cancels a game, then you play on a Tuesday. Now you're on a bye week. What are you doing, around the building, around the team to keep guys locked in, keep guys engaged? What's the schedule looking like for you guys?
It's been challenging, to say the least, because you practiced and then the game got canceled and then we weren't playing again to the following Tuesday. And then now we played that one and we're not playing again to the following Wednesday. So we sort of had almost like, all right, a couple off days and then 2 or 3 almost like scrimmage fall camp type days, then some easy days, and then back at getting back at each other and trying to sharpen each other. And so anytime you're in these midweek games, you turn them into what is today? Today's Thursday, but for us it was a Monday. So you're going backwards. And so we tried to plan our practices around when we wanted that Monday practice to be to prepare for our next opponent. So over the last I'd say 3 weeks, you've had one game and we've scrimmaged each other 4 times as far as doing things together, which is unheard of during the season.
Well, are you able to get, some of the freshmen, maybe the red shirts, a lot of the younger guys, some more reps? Were you able to use that time for that?
We have done a lot of fundamental stuff and giving them some opportunities just to see where they're at, see how much they know, because you can play them up to 4 games, and then if you make a championship game and a bowl game, up potentially 6. So we're hopefully putting some of those guys that we know can play, or whether that's special teams or some type of role, we're putting them in position where hopefully we get to those sort of last 4 games. They can give us some opportunities to get out there, whether that's a receiver, whether that's another defensive back. We've tried to mix and match this time frame to develop them a little bit, but also there's a lot of work our team needs. So we've worked on that as well.
Well, Coach, Liberty seems like it's a place where expectations are high from the fan base, from the university. I mean, it seems like you've met those since you've came in, 18 straight regular season wins. Do you think those high expectations, do they benefit a program or can it hurt a program?
Well, I think there's a benefit to it, no doubt. When you have high expectations, people want to come and play somewhere where there are expectations to not only win a conference, playing the best bowl game, like obviously going to the Fiesta Bowl and hopefully have a chance at CFP. So I think the expectations are great. And obviously they give us the opportunity here, whether that's support from administration or fan base. They want you to do well. So I've been at places where that's not the case. So I'd rather have the expectations. Now the expectations make it more challenging, no doubt, as far as especially I think we won too much out of the gate, right? And so there's nowhere to go but down, as my family told me. And so, but you'd rather have those. I think there's a benefit to that because you have high expectations within anyway. And so the challenge with it, I think, is what's made it harder is with high expectations, not from the inside, but let's say from the outside added on. Kids are all young people are social media based, and so they see a lot of those things. So, we're 5-0 right now, but if you talk to some people, it seems like we're 0-5 because we've not won by enough, right? And so that's from a burden standpoint, I think sometimes your players feel that a little bit, and that's hard. I think that's the hardest piece of it. And that's why I respect, a Nick Saban, a Kirby Smart, a Dabo Swinney, those guys that won consistently 10, 11, a Bobby Bowden back in the day. That's hard to do, to win like that with the expectations so high. So I have a lot of respect for those that finds a way to win consistently every year with those expectations being so high.
Coach, you also, being Liberty, you have expectations of, character or behavior from, of course, the university, but then, of course, the people that, to use slang, are haters or want to see, a religious school fall or anything like that. How do you manage that from a recruiting standpoint, as you're recruiting a high school kid and trying to get to know their character, and then just on the team as far as, what you might do in practice or in meetings to hold guys to a different character standard than most schools have to do?
Well, I think no matter where you're at as a coach, you have a certain standard that you want your players to uphold, right? Obviously, when you're at a Christian university, premier Christian university, there's a standard we want to uphold. There's a standard we uphold for the university, or standard you uphold when you're representing, Jesus Christ. But here's the way I view it. And here's what I share with anybody we're recruiting. This is who we are. We want to develop you in 4 ways. We want to develop you mentally. We want to develop you physically. We want to develop you socially, but we also want to develop you spiritually. And we're going to pour into you just as much as spiritually as we are from a football standpoint, from an academic standpoint. And all we ask you to do is be willing to listen to the message and what we're trying to do. We're trying to build foundations here through the sport of football at Liberty, foundation that will last the next 50 years of their life. They'll get an education. They'll get great experiences, but a foundation is what's going to determine whether you live a life of significance or not. And nobody's perfect. I don't expect our guys to be perfect. I share that up front. I'm not perfect. I screw up all the time. You watch me holler at officials, you probably see that, right? And so, but I share with them that we want to develop you as a whole person. We want to help you grow your heart just as much as we want to grow your strength and want to grow your mind. And it's not for everybody, because some people don't want to be a part of that, because when you do make that, when you do have that stand, and there's certain things that we want our young people to do or follow, certain standards that they have, maybe we have here that other places don't. Some people don't want to be a part of that, and that's okay, because I believe it allows us to recruit the right fit, the right people that will be successful here. And at the end of the day, you got to get the right people that will be successful in this environment that want to be a part of that. And a lot of people do, because of what our stance is. Anytime somebody makes a mistake or whatever, they're coming at you hard, right? And if you know anything about the teachings of Jesus, he was all about grace and he was all about mercy, and we're the same, and that's what I love about our university is we're teaching in a way that in a society today that looks down upon a lot of those things, and we're teaching that, and we're giving young people grace as they learn through the process. And I'm thankful I get grace too. And that's the beauty of Liberty. And that's what I love about it.
Coach, it's funny on that same subject. We go back to when you're at Coastal, you guys were almost the villains there in a different way. Guys like Teddy Gallagher and Grayson McCall and the mullets and the trash talk and this and that. Do you like that? Kind of being the team that everybody hates to see win?
It's a great question, because I've often thought about that. It's amazing how that narrative has followed you, right? And at Coastal, we weren't very good, and you jump on the scene in 20 when COVID was going on and everybody was craving football, and we hit it at the right time. And it seems like we're on TV every week, and everybody saw the teal and all those things, and it was either they loved you or they hated. There's no in between, right? And then you come here and there's already a perception about Liberty and who they are and what they're about. And then you end up getting in a conference and you win 13 in a row and you get the Fiesta Bowl. And then now even more's poured on, And so I'll say this, I'll take that over being the 3 and 9s and the 4 and 7s and all that any day. But what makes, I think, college football awesome and special is you have the villains and you have the people. Vanderbilt, everybody loves Vanderbilt this year, right? Because of what they're doing, right? And you're the darling, and as soon as you're the darling, they move on to somebody else, and then the darling becomes the villain, And I think here we've probably been the villain for a long time, And I don't know if we're ever going to be the darling, and that's okay. But I do like that. It sharpens your sword when hey man, you're getting everybody shot. When you come in there, when you come in there to their place or they come into your place, you're going to get the best shot. And if you're not ready for that, then you got an opportunity obviously to get beaten. And that is an awesome place to be. Now it's challenging, right? Because you got to be on all the time. It's a challenge, but that's part of, I think, what makes college football special. And I enjoy that piece about it. Yeah, I mean, we're in, for whatever reason, we're circled because of the religious aspect, because of what we have or perceive we have, right? Or because nobody likes me, one of the things, right? It's all the above. And we all fit into that. And probably a lot of that fits into religious and Coach Chadwell, from that standpoint.
Well, we were there last year for the Conference USA Championship game and had a great time. And everybody we met there was just so hospitable and friendly to us. And it was a great time. And we were blown away by the in-game atmosphere there. I mean, the student section was incredible. How much is that a tool for you guys, and help you guys win ball games, having a stadium that's packed like that every home game?
It's special. And I mean, y'all traveled to other, G5 places. That doesn't happen most places.
Not.
It doesn't. Most places, they might show up, but they're going at halftime, right?
Yeah.
And one thing that is unbelievable here is our East Carolina game, when we had the 5-hour delay, our student section showed back up. They showed back up. And it is an awesome environment. It's as good as I've been around as far as in-game, as y'all mentioned, going into what we call the Flames quarter, the fourth quarter, all these different things. They do a great job with entertainment, and it's an exciting atmosphere. And then we get great support from our community, from the people that are loyal to Liberty. And then our students are phenomenal. And this year, I mean, we had 20,000 plus for all their home games. And then even last Tuesday, was at 17. And that's almost a full student body that showed up. And so that our guys understand that. We've been to places when we travel places. We traveled to a game last year that it was a noon kick, and I promise you there was 1,500 people there at noon when we kicked off. 1,500 people, and half of them were Liberty fans.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that our guys are realizing that it's not like that a lot of other places beyond your P4s, right? Beyond a lot of those, and some of those aren't that way either. But that is a special deal. And when you get a young man on campus and they see the environment when they're at a game, man, it sticks, right? It sticks, and that's a big deal. We can say, hey, you're going to play in front of a big atmosphere, a big time atmosphere, no matter who you're playing, and that's shown up in our. What do we have? We had 8 home games last year, and we've had 4 here, I think, this year. 4, I think. So 12 games, I think, at home over the last 2 years, counting the championship game, and every one of us been 17,000 plus. And that's including the midweek games, which, you're going to lose some of the people that have to work or whatever. And so that's a big deal. And it's a huge benefit for us. And our guys understand. And I think one of the reasons we've had success at home, even maybe when it looks like we should have got beat, is because of that crowd being in there, being behind us. It gives you momentum. They're behind you. They're loud. They stay involved with it. I don't take it for granted. I still get excited. I still get enamored when we go into the Flames quarter and they're playing the video and they're playing Don't Stop Believing. I start thinking about 80s Journey and all that, how good Journey was. And I start thinking about that. But also, and the reason why is, I was at Division II. I was at FCS. I've been at FBS, but where, maybe staying for a whole game wasn't the deal, and so we and our staff, none of us take that for granted. So we're so appreciative of that. And I think our players didn't realize how special it was until we went into Conference USA and playing other G5s all the time. Because before that, when you're independent, you're playing at your Virginia Tech, you're playing at playing all these different places, right? And so maybe you saw it a little bit, but maybe you were also experiencing big time atmospheres a lot on the road. When we've not been able, unfortunately, not been able to play a P4, so you're playing a lot of these, and sometimes there's good crowds and sometimes there's not. And our guys have appreciated that, so I think it's been a big benefit.
Coach, what do you attribute that to? We always post polls and stuff on Twitter. What would draw a crowd? And everybody says, oh, cheap beer, free beer, quit playing on Tuesdays, or all these traditions and all this stuff. And then you, well, yeah, winning, of course. And you guys have done that, certainly. But it's like, Liberty.
It's not
Christian
cheap beer.
School,
I can tell you that.
You're not, nobody's, at least theoretically, nobody's drinking. You're playing on weeknights. You're playing maybe not as big a brand name opponents all the time, but yet they're still there and they're still staying. And I mean, it really is amazing.
Yeah, it is. I would say two things. I would say, one, the people that graduate from here, they have a unwavering loyalty to Liberty and what it's about and what it did for them. And so that's one, as far as the people that come back. Two, there is an alignment from the administration that from faculty, from staff, all the way down, that sports are an important part of the university and what the university is about. That's been from the founders get-go. One of his things was athletics is a gateway or a front door to helping the university grow, and that was something that was important to him. And for everybody that's came after him, that importance has been the same, as far as athletics is a big piece of that. And so when you have faculty, when you have staff and administration align with that, and then that trickles down to your student body. Hey, what do you do? We teach you the cheers. You go to the games, you show up, you cheer, you go loud. And that is something that I felt when I got here, and I'm going to some different things. I mean, the student, they're excited about it. They know about you. They know about who your wife's name is. They know about your players. Like it's a big deal. It's important to them, and I think when you have that from the top down and everybody knows, hey, this is a big deal. Let's get behind each other. We're in this together. And that's one thing I will say that I think is so unique here is there is togetherness from everywhere. Nobody is pulling in this direction and this direction. Everybody is going in the same direction. And you can feel that. You sense that. Students sense that. Students know that. They know there's a support. And when you're doing things to do that, whether that's on campus and whether that's marketing, whether that's doing things at our convocation, I go speak at convocation, to get them fired up, and all. They truly enjoy athletics here. Our basketball's like that, other sports are like that. And so it's not just football. Obviously football's a bigger pie of it as far as more people showing up to game, because there's 20 something thousand there. But you come to a basketball game in February and it's an unbelievable experience. And so I think that's what makes it unique and special. And because there's a joy, people coming to Liberty and the way the mission is and what the mission's about and how the young people are treated here from top to bottom. There's not a situation where people feel like they're not getting the best part of that, or, well, athletics is getting this. Why are not we not getting this? That's usually part of it, right?
Yeah.
No part of that here.
That's awesome.
Great answer.
That's perfect.
I got chills, man.
Yeah. Well, we got this year 12-team playoff expanded. The group of 5 gets a spot. Is that something you talk to your team about, throughout the season, maybe preseason, or do you just focus, hey, this is what we got this week? You can't control everything else, and everything will take care of it the way it's supposed to.
I'm more of that. Our guys are aware of that. Preseason, we were one of the teams that potentially could make it, right? One of those things. Our guys are aware of that. But I've not necessarily said anything about it. And one, because I think anytime anybody talks about that, they're assuming your team's coming back as a whole.
Yeah.
And unless you have a lot of NIL money, that's not happening. And so I knew that, yeah, we got a good, core coming back, but also we still have 50 new people coming in that have no clue, any of those things. So we really work hard, or committed to talking about the opportunity we have in front of us. And hey, if we'll take care of our business, then we'll have an opportunity at the end. Right. But the only way to do that is for that. Because I'm realistic. You lose one game, we're out.
Yeah.
Why do I want to put that pressure on our team? Why, hey guys, if you don't go play your best one game, you're done.
Yeah.
And hey, let's go enjoy this journey. Let's enjoy playing together. And then whatever happens, it happens, and so our big thing now has been, let's earn our game back. We lost a game. We're going to be the only team in the country that only plays 11 and not 12. And so our big push is, hey, what do we need to do to earn our game back? And so you got an opportunity to win this weekend. You get a bowl game. So there's one, but I have the opportunity to earn that championship game, and so that's been our whole push. And let's handle those. If we can handle that business, then at the end of the year, if you can do it and you're undefeated, then there's some things that have to go your way, no doubt. But it went our way last year too, right? Nobody thought that was going to happen. So you never know, But there's so much to me. We could do everything perfect, win every game by whatever, and still not make it. That's true, because somebody or a group of people is going to look at you and compare you to somebody else and say, well, y'all did this, but they played this team, and I knew all that's going to be a part of that. I don't want our guys thinking about a lot of that stuff. Let's focus on the things we can control, and hopefully we can, do the things that we're capable of. And do I think that we have the ability to be a playoff team? I do. I believe that wholeheartedly. But we have to do a lot of things right each week for us to have that opportunity.
Coach, that is one of the things about the resume and about the non-conference and all that. And especially, you do lose what probably in the public's eye would have been your best resume building game had you won that game. What behind the scenes are you having conversations about the future of trying to schedule a quote unquote big brand or trying to schedule some different non-conference games?
Yeah, I mean, we're obviously aware of the perception, right? Everybody, I mean, you have to be behind a rock if you're not aware of the perception of, hey, you don't this or that, and that knocks our league, which I don't agree with. I think our league is getting better. Are we the best league in the country? No, but I think we have some really good teams in here and good coaches, and you got new coaches coming in that are building programs. So it's like anything. When I first went to the Sun Belt, it wasn't perceived as overly great. Now it's perceived as one of the top two, right? And I think Conference USA is heading that way. But, once we made the move to Conference USA, I wasn't a part of that once they made that. But then you lost some P4s or P5s at that time because you had to reschedule because of that. So there's some. The ACC commissioner came out a couple of years ago where we had some games scheduled with some of the ACC schools and said, I don't want you to play any more home and homes with G5s. So we lost some there. And then for whatever reason, college football, they want to schedule games that are 25 years out. I mean, hey, you schedule a game, and I don't know why. We proved it. When was it Coastal? We played BYU in 2 days, and so I think you can figure out something in less than 10 years out. But the scheduling piece and the way it's scheduled and all those things, it makes it challenging. And so it's not because we're not trying. I mean, we've got an opening. Is it next year of 26, 25, 26 maybe? We've got an opening in 26. We've any P5 that has an opening, we've called, and they've all not been on that yet. They've all waited and seeing different things and stuff, and that's part of it as well. I'm not saying they're dodging you, but also they're all looking at different things, and so we want to make sure our scheduling model is we'd love to have 1 P4 every year and 2 really good G5 games every year. Next year I believe we've got James Madison, we've got Bowling Green, and I think we have maybe Old Dominion is 3 of our non-conference games, which those are good G5 games there, good conference, Sun Belt MAC conferences. So those are good. And so those are something that we're working toward, but also the timing. And then now you've got all this new movement in a different conference. So now these people that go to the Mountain West or the new Pac-12, there might be some openings there that comes out, and you just have to see if you have openings. It's going to be interesting once all that. I don't think all that movement settled down. So once that happens, maybe there'll be some opportunities to get some teams earlier than our next. I think our next scheduled opponent P4 wise, I believe is 2027, if I'm not mistaken on that. From there,
Coach, got a couple questions from some Liberty fans on Twitter. First one is from Bailey Anderson. He says, "How have you built such a skilled and loyal coaching family who has traveled and stayed with you?" When most of them have probably gotten contacted to go elsewhere for some different opportunities?
That's a great question. One of the things that I learned early on when I was an assistant, I was under a great coach, but he couldn't provide for a lot of the coaches well enough, not necessarily for him, but just where we were at and all that. And we lost average 2 or 3 coaches every year. And unless you're Nick Saban, that model doesn't work. And so I knew consistency was going to be a big deal. And so if I trust you, and whether I've coached you or whether you play, whatever it may be, I'm loyal to you, and I believe in you. I've not necessarily gotten certain jobs because I couldn't bring certain people with you, and that was something that was important to me, because if I ask them to be loyal and trust, then I got to reciprocate that. You see a lot of coaches when they leave, they don't take hardly anybody, and I'm very proud anytime that the new job, Lord's opened the door, I've taken the majority of people with me, and I think that's one of them. They know they can trust me. They know who I am. I don't take any of the credit. I take all the blame. And so any success we've had is honestly because of the coaches and the different people that we've had. And we know each other. And what that allows is they know their off time. They know the schedule. That helps, right? That helps. They know I'm not up here till midnight trying to grind them and then get them back in again at 6 a.m. We work. We're efficient, but we also, I think you have to have a great balance and have to have a great joy. If you're gonna come in and be a college football coach and you're gonna use your position to impact people in a positive way, then you've got to have an opportunity to have a great relationship at home with your family, and your kids need to see you and all those different things. And so, we really create a model where they're and I'm gonna say balance. There's no, you're not 50. Oh, we're 50% home 50. That's not true, but where when there's time away, we're time away. We work. When there's time away, there's time away. So those guys feel like they're valued, their time's valued. And when you see some other things, you see some other people that maybe some of the guys could have coached with, and you hear horror stories. And I think when you start at Division II, like most of us have, there's a lot of guys that when I was Division II, whether they played for me or coached for me, they're still with me. And then FCS, you did a lot of things. You did it together. You didn't have all these analysts. You didn't have all these things, and you did a lot of that stuff together. And we've all, I'm not saying we've made a pact. Somebody can leave next year because I know money talks a lot, but to do something together when nobody thought you could, none of us came where we had a daddy that was a name, that got us in the profession, or none of us really GA'd at a big school, none of those things. We've climbed it together and started at a lower level and worked together. And nobody, majority of the guys that have been, we've not been at P5 or P4, and that's a knock. And I look at it as a positive because I figure if you can win at these levels, you can win at any level, and so I think that's the why, is just knowing we've done something together and we value each other, and egos don't get involved, as I'll say.
I love it. That's awesome. We got one more question. We'll let you get out of here. Actually, just got a text message from a loyal friend. They want to know, do you have a specific skincare routine or workout regimen to stay in such great shape as a head football coach?
Skincare and workout regimen. Well, one, my wife does sell some skincare products, and typically she lets me try those out. I mean, and so it's hard to be an Adonis, as you guys know. It's hard to be an Adonis, but I am a big believer in working out. I think it's important. So I'm in this kick now where I'm a 6-day-a-week guy. 3 days of that week, I'm doing some treadmill work, but I'm doing it on an incline. That's supposed to be great for your heart. It's supposed to be really good from that standpoint. So I do a lot of incline work 3 days a week, and the other 3 is a form of weightlifting and I guess a lot of hit activities. Like a 25-minute workout where you're just going, and doing some things. And so, but I if you're in whatever you do working out, if you miss it, you feel like you've cheated on somebody, right? You get in that routine. And so, but it's something I think is important. You got to work hard to take care of yourself, because it's you spend a lot of time raising other people's kids, and you want to bring around for your own kids.
No doubt.
And I think a lot about that. And so, now I like to eat, but I got into, I'll just tell you, after 2021, I got the heaviest I've ever been. And I was just, banquet circuit, I guess. And it was one of those things where you bent over to tie your shoe and you thought you was dying, one of those things. And so it's made a decision. I've got to give up certain things if I want to be around and see my kids grow and be active and all those things. So I had an addiction to sweet tea. I love sweet tea. I had to give that up, all that extra sugar. And I started fasting. I'm an intermittent faster now, which I never was. And so all those things have helped me maybe regulate. I could lose weight and I'd be great. And then the season came and you just slowly put it on, I'm one of these, I'm not a drinker, but I'm a gulper. All right. So if I was a drinker, I'd be an alcoholic because I gulp stuff. And so, but when I'm upset, I eat. When I'm ecstatic, I eat. It was one of those things. Right. Yeah. So you're winning a lot, there in that 2021 season, there's a lot of wins during that time frame. I was enjoying that. And then when we got beat, I was upset. So I was enjoying that. So I kept I've learned how to control that a little bit better. But I would tell my little friend, sometimes it's just genes.
I don't know. Anytime I think I know who that question comes from, Jeff. Anytime I see him on Instagram, he's sitting in his garage on his lawn chair with snacks and drinks and all kind of
that,
stuff.
or he's eating popcorn. One of the two.
Yeah.
Probably about 3 or 4 bags of it.
No doubt.
all that butter is not good for you. Well,
Yeah,
Coach,
his exercise is going back between Facebook and Twitter.
well, Coach, man, we can't thank you enough for coming on. Loved it. Loved the interview. Loved hanging out with you. We're rooting for you guys. I know nobody else might be, but we definitely are. We had a great time at Liberty. We enjoy hanging out with, all your fans and meeting players and coaches and all that. So we thank you and can't thank you enough. Head coach of the Liberty Flames, undefeated, looking for another win here next week. But Coach, thank you so much.
Thank y'all. See y'all in hopefully, I guess, about 3 weeks.
We're looking at it.
Possible.
Yeah, looking at it. All right. Sounds good. Thank y'all.
Appreciate
Thanks,
you,
Coach.
Bye-bye.
Jeff, I'll say it. I tend to align with the Liberty folks more so than everybody else. I'm sorry to say it. I just do. And we said this after we went last year, Jeff. All the negativity that people say, look, I get it. But I would challenge those people to go there or when Liberty travels to play you, to hang out with their fans and just see. And if you still feel the same way, hey, good on you, man. Shake hands and part as, acquaintances and never have to deal with each other again. But I bet you wouldn't. I bet you would become friends. I bet you realize you have a lot more in common with all these people that you think you don't. But man, that was a great interview. Can't thank Coach Chadwell enough.
No, it was incredible. And what's funny about it is, and you're spot on with everything you just said, but about Coach Chadwell, we've built a lot of relationships with different coaches, head coaches, OCs, like a lot of different people around the country at this point. And you hear certain things about other coaches. I gotta say, he's awesome. I mean,
oh yeah,
all his answers were great. He seems like a great human being, fun guy. I mean, I can't wait to get back up to Liberty.
Well, and that's something I wish we would have asked, because you remember all the times at Coastal they'd have the spring break workouts and all that stuff, and they always seemed to have fun, this extra little layer of fun. But man, the thing that stuck out the most to me, Jeff, when we were talking about the crowd, is what did he say?
I know
everybody's aligned. Everybody's aligned. The president, the AD, the coaching staff, the players, the students, the community, and that's why you get record-setting crowds on Tuesday nights, Wednesday nights, of course on Saturdays, and you don't see it from really anywhere else. Especially in that conference, really you don't see it anywhere else in Conference USA.
Yeah, I mean Jacksonville State's been okay. Western usually has a decent crowd, but nothing like Liberty gets, and it just makes such a huge difference when president, AD, faculty, staff, admin, they're all get it, and they're all on the same page. And they all understand that football and athletics is the front porch, and they're going to help grow everybody, every department, every facet of that school. And what I loved about it too is like, how do you get these students in? How do you get the fans to come back after they graduate? Because they have a great time there while they go to school, and it's a community, and they've built it this way. And I'm sure not everybody who went there has that experience. That's true at every university in the country.
Right.
Not everybody has that, but seems like they've done a great job at getting their students to enjoy it. Cause I don't know too many Liberty students that we've come across that are either active students or former students that are like, I hate that place. Like you'll see trolls on Twitter every once in a while, and they're like, I went there and I had a bad experience. But the overwhelming majority is, I love my school and I'm going to support them. And that's all that we're about. That's all that we're about.
It. And that's what he said too, right? Is the students, they're not drinking. It is Tuesday night. They do have class. They do have work the next day, but they're still there because they have such an appreciation for what the university has done for them. Which, I mean, what a wild concept, Jeff.
I know. Well, he did bring up when we were talking about crowds. It's like you go someplace and there's 1,500, and I almost said, well, buddy, get ready, because on November 9th, there's going to be 1,500 screaming Blue Raider fans, and you'll probably bring more Liberty fans. But I'll be there. Murphy's will be there.
Yeah, you'll be there. I will not. be at that one, at least not that I know of. But when he was talking about he hopes to see us, might see him a little bit later down the road. We shall see.
Yeah.
Pending results of some other games. But again, that was Liberty head coach Jamey Chadwell. Thank you, Coach, for coming on. Thank you, everybody at Liberty that kind of helped set this thing up.
Yeah, Todd, appreciate you, Todd, setting that up.
And I hope you guys had a nice bucket of popcorn while you watch this interview. And we will see you in the morning. That's all we got for you guys tonight. Make sure you hit the follow button on all the socials. Like, subscribe, share all the podcasts.